Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast centered about the top 100 of Kyber 1 for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm joined by most of the regular cast tonight. Dagger couldn't be with us, prior engagement tying up his evening. We wish him well, we'll see him next week. However, we do have TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Uh, as far as my week 2 went, it was a 2-1, had an Erodium in round 1, and Sasha Aisha in round 2. Great fight. Finally, avenged myself and got a win. I think the last couple times he skunked me, so we'll take that for sure. And then, of course, a raid boss match versus Baby Yoda, which hinged on me not dropping anything because he posted like an 1837 on me, and then I dropped the first fight. So we did science stuff from there and just had some fun. TJ, how about you?
For me, for the first time in a while, went 3-0. Um,
Congrats.
and actually, yeah, I appreciate it, man.
That's
Those are
impressive.
few and far between to go up. So, but also was properly set, and now I'm into what I'll call the real week. So it's going to be a great week.
Okay, dig that. Sasha Aisha, how did the week go for you?
It was a fun week. I had 3 legit matches. I had Rockstar, you, and Aesop. I
Nice.
went 2-1. I suffered the indignity of you crushing me on stream. It was actually really super fun match.
It
It
was
was
really fun.
one of the funnest, most fun matches I've had in a while, and so that was great. I had a good match in opening round against Rockstar, and had fun with Aesop in the final round, where both he and I were pretty creative. You know, it's like we face each other at least 50 times a year. It feels like, maybe less than that because there's less GACs than that. But we face so much that we tend to get really creative, and I'm happy to dive into some of the goofy stuff that each of us placed in that match.
Right, looking forward to hearing about that. And last but not least, Fatal. How was the week for you?
3-0. It's
Go.
I wouldn't say it's too much of an accomplishment. I threw a bunch of matches in the last 2 seasons, so I was a lot lower than I typically am, and so
Well, you were predicting that you were positioned well to sweep this last week. Yeah.
I mean, yes, usually a lot of my comps and setups just tend to have this buoying effect where the moment that I fall past ranks where people are used to fighting me, the old traps become new again. Like my Amidala got holds all 3 rounds, and that's that's just some latent built-in power to some of my effects that it does not hurt to have when you're in a position to be fucking around with your rank more than you perhaps should be. I looked at the leaderboard and saw 600, and I was like, okay, that's maybe a bit much.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm all for having fun, but there's also something to be said for I don't think the meta will be rough for that much longer, and I need to be in a good position for when things correct. So
True. It's true.
Yep, I'm looking to crack some skulls. Continue to try to do so.
Okay. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty of how we did this week. First up, meta analysis. So, recap on Lord Vader clones. Anything new here, guys? Slacker worked for me. I saw it didn't work for you, Fatal, at least once. I know it can be spotty. Leia works. Bam Sana JML that we talked about last week also works. But yeah, anything new, Tales of Woe and Valor wise?
It was weird for me because I crushed the first 2 times, and then I honestly haven't done the VOD review. I need to take a look between the good ones and the bad ones. It's entirely possible that I was just experimenting with some lines I should not have been touching, or something that caused the 2 most recent attempts to lose.
Did anything stick out for that team as far as difference? Was there, because I'll tell you why I'm asking, Fatal, but I just wanted to know if you noted anything that you saw, like a physical damage checks, which I'm sure it's not what it is, or a speed check or anything else.
I wasn't really that diligent about looking, so I could not tell you.
That's all right. So the only reason I was asking that, though, is because I had the same fail, and I talked to Dagger about it, and it almost makes sense. there was a speed check where I couldn't maintain what my team was trying to do. And I know one thing he said was when you've got that super fast LV that can intervene with what you're trying to do for the shenanigans of trying to get ahead and stay ahead and everything else. I don't know if you have felt the same thing, because that check definitely felt like it came and it cashed itself because I couldn't keep up at all when I tried the SLKR.
My stuff is already not really that focused on speed. I'm way more on defensive protection just to try to weather. So
Mhm.
I can't really say that. I would just default to assuming that I'm going second. Like it's not even remotely close. My SLK might even still not even have a speed setback on him yet. I'd have to look.
Okay. Sasha, any notes from you? Anything kick up dust for you, Lord Vader wise?
No, I think I used BAM, Sauna,
Yeah.
JML each one of the rounds, and while it wasn't clean, it was fun,
Who
and
was
I
your
know it's
fifth
going away.
character? Sorry, who was your fifth character though? Who'd you use
I used Han as the fifth,
to stun
and stun.
CX2?
No, I stunned DCT,
Oh, okay.
and
That's funny.
yeah, it worked smoothly each time for me.
I
Who do
like
you
that.
birds on?
Sorry, what was that?
Who do you birds on? I
If
I
he's
knew it
still
exists, but
alive,
I'm not
Oppo,
familiar.
and if not, then CX. Like what's fascinating is like I think the offense, just that entire squad ramps enough that Han gets to go and Dash gets to go before Birds generally triggers, and each of them will typically one shot aside,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
and so you end up with like. I guess my answer for Fatal is just not LV. Anybody but LV, and I'm good.
I'm actually gonna laugh at that because I was gonna say Tass had that great match. I think it was week 1 with the Erodium, and he had the two really good players. He had Striker, and I can't who he was facing with Striker. And again, I say it here. If you can play the match, Tass, I'll talk because I got to do it round 2, and I'll say I got to put mine on LV and the team still faded away. I just don't know if it really mattered. But will you play the match real quick, Tess?
I'll go back for that one, but I already have this one up. This is the one I did just at the end of the last week versus Baby Yoda.
I
But see,
took
I took IG-11, so I was talking to
Right.
the chat about who to bring in, and there's a
Yeah.
few suggestions. It didn't, wasn't gonna
I really
make all the
uh,
difference in the world, I guess. We were able to get the ability block on DCT, and now seeing that it was stealth, I was thinking, see, he starts in stealth, doesn't he? CX2.
he does.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I was thinking, oh, Han might have been nice to have just to plug CX2 because you can see, shit, he just put disarm on Bam just before I'm about ready to let birds fly.
Yeah.
So I just took a 50% offense cut. I'm thinking, well, it's okay. We've already lost the match.
yeah.
Let's still try to play it out and play it like, it still matters here. Okay, good. He didn't kill us. I guess target Lord Vader and let it rip. Shield is up. Doesn't look great. Through
Right.
the
That's
offense cut, we
that's
just
that's
murked to the whole team.
yes. It just does not matter once you've got there.
Right.
And here's what I want to say. Can you show the other match for me?
You
And
said
there's a
the one
piece
with
what
Stryker from last week?
yeah, so it's when his opponent came on and did his fight. There's one key call out where he does one extra thing that felt really good if you could time it correctly. Obviously, it's not going to matter now because this crown is going to be gone. But in his match, he has one additional turn order that I really liked. And I know mine wasn't set for it, and it didn't matter. But I also did the IG just based off of what I saw with yours, and IG felt great.
Okay.
Also, just because if he goes to the once, it's an AOE that's hitting everybody, so that's just another 5 hits.
Mm-hmm. Let me pull this up. Now,
Yeah, I think it's
he
going to
did
be
BKM
irrelevant.
versus Great Mothers last week. Me.
This is,
You sure it was
yeah, this is,
Stryker?
it was Striker's fight. So his opponent had come on. The only reason I can call this out because I haven't actually seen it until they did it on live on stream with you. And so Striker's opponent came on and he did because Striker called it out. I was like, oh man, I wanted to do this. and I wanted to try it. So that was part of the. I don't remember where it was at, but I just know you had the Erodium, and so Striker came on that morning. So it wasn't the one that evening; it was the one that next morning that you did.
Checking.
It's okay. I was just impressed by the fight, but even if you can't find it, it's okay. It's just the one variation that I saw he did different than anybody else I've seen, just because I don't know if we've ever taken the time. And I was telling Sasha about it. It's like you add Sana into the fray of when Sana will go versus like the Bam, the dash, etc.
Yeah,
And that
you
just
must be thinking of a different round because it's not the one you're saying it is.
whenever Striker went with you in the and then his opponent came on is all I could tell you. Maybe it was the
Maybe
previous
that
week.
was round 1 of this week. Look, we
Yeah.
did have him on.
I think it was. Yeah.
That's the only reason I remember it. But like I said, it was cool because
TJ.
yeah. I'm gonna put it on you to find your stuff on your stream.
That's
You know,
right.
it's ownership. Either way,
Okay,
it's
here we go.
all I
I
wanted
got
to
it.
call.
I found
Yeah.
it at long last.
We need to make a rule when task streams, somebody has to pay attention.
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, there has to be somebody there, professional streamer.
That is fair. All right, here we go. So yeah,
Yep.
with IG-11.
It's this part right here. It's this, then
Okay,
this.
so that's the
That
third.
to me was the coolest piece, is having the Sana go when she did. That's the only
Why?
thing I wanted to call up, just for the additional pieces, and also you're putting cleanse.
But I mean,
She's
doesn't just the one sweep from Dash give you 20? Because you have the added summon.
It was just the additional things that was going on. Because if you look at who is dead already, right? So like I said, it was just again, it's irrelevant. It's
Sure.
nice, but look how clean his team is, and look at the banner count. Those are it's just those little added pieces. Again, irrelevant. It didn't matter because mine didn't go that way. But just how clean his turn order was made it like it was such a just paint by numbers. Obviously, my Sana was out in front of everybody because she's just clocked to be super fast for whatever it was worth. But it didn't change the ending of the fight. Maybe I just got 2 less banners or whatever it was.
Sure.
That was it.
Sure. All right, next item, guys. Saw Chira with high damage and a crit damage triangle. Crit damage on the Kron, ideally, on your Saw Kron, can definitely cut through Dabbot and Fennec. Now, I will admit, I had like a 15,000 offense Fennec with, I want to say, 3 offense primaries, and I got my teeth kicked in. All right, so the little bit of assist interplay between Chirrut and Baze basically allowed a series of events in which Fennec died like nearly immediately. Took the big hit from Kyle. Somebody knocked her down again shortly thereafter. So we were just down to Dadbot almost immediately. Matter of fact, let me pull that one right up. You don't have to take it on faith. You can relive the horror with me now.
Sure, it's also what I landed on for this week. I've been going through like a weird attacker like ring around the rosy where like I was getting ready for this lockout. I was like, it might as well be Chirrut. There's no reason for it not to.
Is it Chirrut for you guys?
It's
all my other
be...
attackers.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like, ideally it'd be Drogon, but Drogon, no
I've still
longer
seen
like that.
Kyle being able to do it if you can set it correctly, but it's like I've seen other shenanigans that I was facing, and then I also watched Sheik or Shake face as well. And you're
I've
actually
got Kyle in too. I'm saying I'm looking for more attackers.
I'm not even worried about the defense. I'm saying that you can set up the shenanigans if done correctly. If people did leave their Fennec as is and they kill the Fennec using Bodhi, and you put them into just a loop. If your Fennec is dead, so it's true, and they left it as simple, Bodhi will put you into a loop. And I actually literally watched it and almost got caught in it, but my Fennec survived. And that Bodhi on the team, as long as somebody else is alive, and because Dabbot will continue to fight back and forth, it's a 5-minute fight, and you will literally time out doing that loop. And if you put Kara in there, again, if there's nobody there, you have the one person going back and forth. You're going to hit into the potency up, and then they're going to continue to kill, and you can't kill the team, and so you're left. I literally was putting it. Somebody tried to do it on me, but I got lucky. But yeah, just a flimsy old Bodhi will put it to a situation, especially if your Fennec is dead, you can't win.
What I'm saying is, it's not an either or. Like in my opinion, like I don't even. Unless there's a reason why I'm not aware of, I don't even think you run Baze here. Like I'm really just trying to front load more damage just to try to get that pressure on Fennec. Like I'm looking for Kyle, I'm looking for Jarrett, I might keep Captain Rex, I might move Captain Rex somewhere else. I'm still up in the air on that, but yeah, I'm just looking for damage dealers.
What about
honestly,
Cassian? How do you feel about Cassian?
If they didn't have grit, then Cassian I would feel a little bit better on. I would have to recheck what they're immune to, but they're immune to a whole heck of a lot. And like, I don't know if this is a misplay, but when I play Fennec Boba, I'm usually just doing basics anyway, so I don't think they're immune to ability block. But that's just their normal play pattern. Yeah, no, I am fully just bought in on like my Salkron even has. Yeah, my Salkron even has like 175% crit damage. I am solely here to just be like, all right, Fennec, it's on.
I feel like that's the right answer. And I'm wondering if you're right.
So I don't know if you just saw. If you blinked, you missed it. But here we go. Kyle does bat. Follow up bat. Fennec's first life gone. All right. Turn one.
Yeah, that's the hope. You're really just like planting down enough damage dealers that someone will hopefully grab her.
So, all right, there goes Fennec. And now it's just you and me and doing no damage to this very well, tank modded phase. Okay, maybe we'll get another turn. I'm sure it'll be fine, and then it's not fine.
It is the latter part of the battle that makes me think that like Baze has appeal, because I'm a convert now to the Chirrut Baze on it as well. But it's what I took away from it is you want high offense on Kyle Katarn. So I jacked my offense on my Kyle. You want that immediate takedown of Fennec if you can. And then hopefully you follow up and you're able to take her out. And at least I think of this from the side when I'm playing the Scion of Django, it's like I'm often just trying to farm cheap kills to get Bounty Hunter Resolve back. And it's like once Bounty Hunter Resolve is gone, if there's a taunting tank there, which Base is great about, like each time you knock one of the opponents out, he is taunting again. It was a difference maker. So that's why I thought Baze would be nice there, but otherwise, like I'm 100% with Fatal. I just want a lot of DPS, and I would love to have Drogon on the squad. I don't think I can solve some of my other problems.
I can actually show you if you want to go look at my round 3 as an example, and what it looks like, and the loop you get put into. I don't disagree with the Chirrut. I think the Chirrut's good. I think the double damage is a great call out. And my idea is you want your best damage stats on your Saw team. But if you look, if that Fennec goes and Bodhi is there with the level 9, you're screwed. You can't get around the setup on it. And depending on how soon it goes, that's where it's like I could see the Chirrut being in there. And maybe it's no tank, but it's like I said, I'm just doubling down on the shenanigans of the revive mechanic. So I can see it. And I can also see your point too, Sasha, of saying, I want the bulk to back it, because you are right. You're trying to set everybody up that if one Bounty Hunter Resolve goes, you have a way to quickly get it back. And that's pretty much the maintainer of success and or failure.
I think that this Bodhi Terra thing, like I understand like adding RNG to the fight, but it's still just like it's random whether or not you're gonna catch somebody out with it, as opposed to this is a really potent 1-2 punch that I think you can rely on. But consequently, I did bump up Chirrut like this. He's the one that I fought was like 312. I'm just about the same here, 315. He was 10k, just over 10k, got 100% crit chance. So this is kind of what you should go for. I did change Baze. I don't think this makes a ton of difference for the fight, but I've had him in the same tenacity set since forever. And for a lot of the things that are fighting, that doesn't really matter. So I just bulked him out, just made him big, reasonable armor despite everything. And bounty hunter wise, I did change Fennec. Pretty happy with it. Looking at 3 protection, 4 protection primary. And yeah, 74k health, 129,000 protection. Still 14k offense. Still nothing to sneeze at. But they're not going to catch me the same way twice. So we'll see if that puts down the pressure we're looking
Yeah, I think it was it was after my very first battle when the Sino Kron first rolled out that I made the pivot to like heavy defense and thickness for those two bounty hunters because I felt like their DPS was not particularly lacking, but I was nervous about like I think the first battle I won, it may have even been against UTAS. I lost my Fennec. And very early on, she died twice, and I'm like, "Oh shit! I thought this was supposed to work really well and easily." Um, and the only reason I won is because Sina Django hung on and like counterattacked your squad to death. And I just realized I wanted Fennec to hang, and so and was afraid of SOJ dying. So yeah, I've gone heavy defense on them. I think like fairly heavy deep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I can say for a fact I've had her on triple defense, and it has proven her or pulled her through situations where damage build would definitely have been done.
I believe
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I know you were saying that before a couple weeks back, and I absolutely kind of fight. Any other notes you guys had here on fighting Saw? All right. Next item. Fighting Ray team. So Ray Zalbar, was a pretty big feature this week. Ray Swallow, Exile Ezra, DK, and Zalbar with the Zalbar Cron. So you've got the Omicron active, which forbids enemies from gaining stealth. You've got, you know, got the crit immunity threat from GK, whole bunch of stuff. In the second round against Sasha, I was able to pull out a win, but it was rough going because Radis got executed like immediately. Jin kind of trivially died shortly thereafter. The good news is that she did manage to get the one turn meter push out to Drogon, where we did not kill Exile Ezra with the basic, but we did put him into DI, which was enough of a footing where we could, pursue the fight from that moment. Still pretty rough. And then in the last round, I had the same team from Baby Yoda. I decided to go with a different comp because I felt, Radis Jim was pretty weak there. And, TJ was advocating for Chupio and Krek. So you can see the idea behind Chupio being able to blind them, remove crit immunity before the big hit from Drogon. It kind of made sense in your head, but you see where it breaks down almost immediately because logs to Drogon. Now you don't have Jin to do the turn meter pass back to Drogon. Drogon isn't in stealth because of Zalbar. So what does Exile Ezra do? Just lands his stun on Drogon, and the fight pretty much ends right. So good lesson on that. And I see that Baby Yoda cleared mine for like 65. Come to find out, that's just Seer, Malicos, Maul,
Yeah.
Starkiller crew. So that would have worked just fine. And good lesson to me on that one.
I'm gonna call it your 50-50, and it's like where we talked about it, I think, Tess, and it's if you're going to that situation, your seer was on defense. You had no way to
Sure.
alter. So to alter your route, right? And Baby Yoda was set for that. So he altered his because generally this week everybody puts seer on defense. That comp, if you look at the numbers, because I went back and I dissected it, right? And it's like that one almost feels like if they're setting the double tank, which is there's no supports and all that, it basically does feel like go the Seer or the SLKR route. The numbers support it. Like you see what Baby Yoda is doing, it does support that go that way versus even trying the Leia. Because if you look, everybody's generally slow on that team. There's not a lot going for it. I understand the Cal. If you have two supports on there, you're playing a better game because you get more control with the lay. But Seer SLKR, take a lower number and go for it. The where the Krex comes in and the Chupio is if anybody tries the Ray Sana, that is where the logic steps that you're done. There's just not a way. And again, the data again supports it that the Ray Sana, if they try that stuff, the Krex and the Chupio, and I did it all 3 rounds. It always played the same way. You lock it down. They have no hope. And then what you were going for does happen against that team because they don't have those pieces that are able to intervene like that. Each time I'm getting through the stealth, the crit immunity is ripped. It's paint by numbers, and you'll take your 61, 62 generally, but the race on is dead. So I think that's where it's like it's not every team is set the same, but when you're getting to, they're going to do the GK, and I expect because it was done at the top, we'll probably see it more. You're just going to try to take your seer, or that's where you're going to put your SLKR, in my opinion, because then it's like you're taking a safer route because they're just not going to be able to mess with you.
Fair. Yeah. I agree with that. Any other notes from you guys on fighting Ray this week? Anything unique pop up for you? Okay. Next item. So, Temple Guard just came out today. Came out at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're here just about 6:30 Eastern, so not too far after GAC lock. I did pick him up such that I'll have him, at 7 stars over the next 5 days. But I definitely think that the Datacron's really interesting for him. How many of you sprung for the Focus Datacron for week 3? Yeah,
I went for
okay.
him, but you go first.
Go ahead. Okay, yeah, I did spring for the Datacron, figuring I'll get a full focus Datacron out of it, even if it's kind of premature for get a Temple Guard. But when I got the focus Datacron, what it was full of was sadness. So I I ended up not leveling it up, but yeah, I did go for it.
Yeah, in case you weren't already aware, for the folks that pushed to get this Datacron, it's supposed to come to you maxed out. Instead, it's level 0. So
Mhm.
you would have to put materials into it. They've already confirmed CG's already confirmed they're looking into it. So it is not intended. I imagine there will be a make good for people who put materials into it. But the only way you have this thing at level 15 for week 3 here, that's just ahead of us, is if you went hard for it. And I did not do that.
I went for the character, and then I live in the sad realm with Sasha and anybody else who went for it, because I'm sure we were all thinking the same thing. Free Datacron coming in with the character, that's a definite make good and kind of makes it worth it to see what you're doing. Again, seeing what Fatal did with looked promising to me. Just on the front of the Beck team, I felt like that might be promising, or even the Qui-Gon Jinn, or whatever we're gonna do, felt pretty cool. Being able to have both, so I pushed the R8, was looking for mods for him and everything else, and then no Datacron. I was not going to waste resources on something that should be given for free. So it's like, this is week 3. You're there. Anybody who pushed the resources, man, good on you, and I respect it. But I'm like, no, that's supposed to be free. I'll wait my turn and I'll go put them where I think they need to go, which I think will go for the next topic.
Well, sure. Well, I mean, this is our last topic for meta analysis. So, I mean, talking about this focus Datacron and I guess whatever other Datacrons you might have gotten from this new set 22 for
Oh, I
to
went.
talk about.
I can already tell you where I pushed on mine. I had everybody talking about it. Everybody's got their skating thing. I got
Yeah.
to JKL bonus turn, and I lived strong by that.
You went
We
for
know
the
how
Hoda
strong it
Crown.
was. Oh man, and I got it to right before Hoda, but I don't know how much that's going to change the fight. Whereas JKL taking a million turns, it was super strong then. Um, we have people have tracked their logic about what their favorite one is, and this is the best one, and that one's the best one. SLKR is phenomenal with or without a Dracron. So it's like I had to choose one, and the one that changing a whole bunch of mechanics to me was the bonus turn. And I knew with the packs and everything they had out, if I was going for one, that ability change up to me has some good merit to really play with the fight. SLKR on defense or offense, one, I do not see it in a world of bulk and defense and everything else that you're not going to still go take JMK with GK, or you're going to go take Bane if it's on defense. On offense, SLKR is killing all of the same stuff. So I didn't see a point in trying to push on that Datacron. And the top 2, in my opinion, live to be Dre and that Jedi one.
I think that's pretty fair. I did spring for the Dre one myself here. I am curious though. I don't necessarily think it's gonna prevent Bane, which would suck. We do.
That's my point. Is you literally look at what it's doing. I think it's cool with the idea, but what changes with that? Yeah, there's some different things going on. I just didn't feel like I'm like, okay, if I'm going to use it on offense, I have Dre with SOKR. I'll go either 2-man or I'm going to go kill something that I know I'm going to kill. It's going to stay the same. Yes, I think you'll be more effective being able to go that route, but you're still staying in, oh, I'm going to go take SLKR. All right, I'm going to set it on defense now. Oh, man, because you have the Bearish Cron, you have GK damage reduction. If anybody, and I know at your level, you probably have somebody who has already all set 22 maxed out and everything else.
I'm sure.
They're going to do GK Barris, right? And then if that's the case, then you're going to get everybody revive. Oh, no. Well, SLKR, but bulk defense and Galactic Republic damage reduction on a defense set. Cool, bro. That SOKR is going to literally do all the same things it was doing. So I was like, if I got to choose one, that 7-turn JKL is just going to be a monster. May not be on defense, but we have 11 teams.
The thing I'll say for the Templecron is I'm pretty sure that Datacron is not the best Datacron for that squad.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it should have been level 15, and it should have been like the no muss, no fuss. Hey, here you go. You don't have any set 21 yet, but you have this to insert for the squad. But I would honestly almost be even tempted to be like, nah, I'm sticking with set 20, actually. Type shit of like, I don't know, man. You look at set 20 and it's like, okay, you could have like a light side Boltcron with like a bunch of protection to get to your like Jocasta.
I think that's 21. Yeah, I think the new set's 22. 20 is the outgoing purple set.
Oh yeah, sorry. No,
it's all right.
Yeah, no.
I just, but your Jocasta now, I don't know. Fatal, always gonna say this, man. Giving your Jocasta 15% turn meter when everybody does something feels super scary. And yours was doing good things when what you're doing in 3s. Giving her that many more turns to make her super, I'm gonna call her super new, because she's version 2 when she busts out the rifle. That feels very scary.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't be convenient, but you got to keep in mind that all the stuff that I was doing was built on the back of light side bulk with 100% protection cron.
Fair.
And then we get to set 22, where I start scratching my head so fucking hard, I'm like drilling all the way through. Because I'm like, so you mean to tell me that they gave this squad a bespoke cron at the same time that they gave it light side bulk?
All right.
With 400% defense.
Right.
And 75% damage reduction on top.
I know. All right.
And you're telling me.
And Bearish Cron. And I'll just add it to add Bearish Cron. So I'll just okay. Convenience on offense. Oh, dude, you're saying whatever, but I'm thinking if you don't kill her and they literally brings everybody back.
It doesn't do it if she's last standing because so Visa's Crown also did this back when set 16 came out, and then someone fucking reported it and took it away from me. So now I'm just embittered. And unless this one is broken in the way that one got fixed, which would be cool.
Well, I would say you look at what what's his name was doing under Lord Vader. It still was doing okay things when you had Piet's stuff was still working like that. And I get with her. I understand with her when she's gone, she's gone. It works through all that setup. But I don't know if it's going to matter. You're especially in especially in TW, anywhere else you're looking, that team's just going to be a disgrace.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels like they threw the baby out with the bathwater of like.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it's like this should have been like a different Datacron set that you could have.
So
just
let me flip it. Let me do this. Let me do this to I guess play devil's advocate. Bulk bespoke. GR damage reduction, and then just give the Jocasta new turn meter, and that's your bespoke cron. And then you flip it, and the GR has some other shenanigans, and now that's your bespoke.
It's so funny to me too because you look at the Temple Guard clause, and we went through the Temple Guard kit reveal. This is the type of shit I would have wanted to see in his base kit, but it's on the level 15,
right?
But just a slight problem here. Temple Guard has 100 base tenacity. This Datacron gives him even more tenacity. So you have a 1 debuffed conditional that only comes with a character who is almost given 200 tenacity baseline to go with it. What are we doing here?
Yep. That's kind of lame. Not gonna lie. Fair. Okay, so as far as, going into this next week, some might have this Jedi Cron if they sprung for it, and then I guess you do seem to think that there is some value in the Dark Ray Cron, maybe limited, not sure. The others don't seem to be as good as these, I would say. Anybody want to take a controversial position against that?
I mean,
That-
The
Krennic
only-
support is going to be huge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
having
Krennic one
access to
where?
a support Datacron
The support
on
support.
Krennic. It's
Yeah.
level 12 on Krennic.
The support
And-
prawn, which is not limited to Empire, just that right there of not limiting it to a faction and just saying, here, you get the support buff.
Oh, this thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Mm-hmm. And
It's only
again,
one of them this time. It's single serving.
Yep.
but it's still not limited to Empire. It's just
That's
the
right.
support. It is the phenomenal setup of doubt, but it's the limit. Again, you're on the dark side thing, but it's like you could go light side with it. The support is just going to be a monster.
So let me ask you this. I
Um,
think if we're entertaining the use of Krennic at all, then we're talking about in 3v3 next season, right? Is this a defense at all for you? With all of this, level 15, however you want
Do
to
you
break it.
remember? Do you remember the support and how good it was when it was here? There was the attacker.
Sure.
Level 6 was amazing. The
Yeah,
other
I
one that
remember-
played.
I remember that Kron being amazing on already pretty solid meta teams like Saw and Queen and stuff like that. We're talking about taking one of the most disused, antiquated kits and sticking on, a whole bunch of mechanics.
This
here.
won't be the Krennic is nice,
Mhm.
but it won't be a Krennic Kron. This will be
Okay.
like doubt on certain teams. I'm almost assuredly going to see it that way. It's cool.
TJ's
It's novel,
in
and
the no Krennic camp. Then.
I
Fair.
no, I do not have Krennic Omicron. I would love my Krennic to actually be used. I was one of the
But
first
you're
ones to
still
do
not
it.
seeing it. I get you. I get it.
It's you have so many teams and there's everything out there that can bypass it, but that support, just think about some of the supports in the game, and if you give it where it's needed, and if you look at the stats that this thing has some actual nice numbers to tie in. I can't see the Krennic being one of those 15 you're going to get when it's time for threes to roll around. But
What I
that support,
suspect as well.
man,
but
that support's going to be a monster.
what do you have to say, Sasha and Fatal? What do you think about this one? The future of this
I,
con?
I'll add quickly and then hand it off to Fatal. I also really like the level 9 on that. The assisting whenever any ally takes a turn. Death Trooper's a pretty solid attacker to have assist. He does daze and then stun on his basic. And it's adding 50% damage, and he can do pretty solid damage.
Sure
I
can.
do worry about the survivability of the squad. I am very intrigued by the level 15 permanent ability block. It's just not something that I can recall us seeing in this game before.
Yeah.
The challenge is like the path to achieving it. It's 10 stacks of insight, and I think they get a stack of insight each time you crit an enemy. Each time there's an ability block on an enemy, and you have to crit an enemy to do that. I actually know under Krennic's lead, that's right. All crits lead to ability blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the quest itself is actually like pretty fulfillable.
Okay, that. So it becomes more intriguing to me, and especially because it comes with that juiced up 50% crit chance. So even poor old Orson Krennic gets a special crit chance over 100% relatively reasonably. So yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I don't know that it can't get steamrolled, and I love the support. So like, there's kind of if maybe it works with them, but a plan B is probably intriguing too. Fatal, what's your thought?
Go ahead, Fatal.
Sorry, go.
No, I would rather have Fatal than I have an easy answer. Using your Death Trooper feels super efficient, but go ahead, Fatal.
No, it's tricky because it's an incredibly easy to fulfill quest. Like the moment that you do the brass tacks, like Krennic LV is like you're just there immediately. Now you would have to do a second AoE to actually achieve the AoE ability block perma. My personal gut check on it is this sounds cute, but I don't actually know the answer to this. But given how developed this game's roster is, I would imagine there has to be a team that is actually like kind of okay handshaking the AoE ability block. And just like it could even be like Bo-Katan maybe, where it's like, hey, yeah, we're just on basic, but like that's chill. Like our basics are pretty okay.
Against you guys, sure. Yeah.
Let me use your death idea and take it a step further as an easy like layup. Just go Imperial Remnant, go DTMG, and so you're saying because death feels great, but literally he was one of the good ones there, and you have an Empire built in with the mechanic. So
Yeah, and
super
MG
low hanging
there,
fruit.
MG gives everybody, as soon as he takes a turn, plus 50% crit damage because he's put 5 debuffs out. Yeah,
Do I love it?
applications with it.
I was there when it was cool, Task, where when it first came out, I was one of the first to want the Krennic to work, but then Death was pulled elsewhere. I think it was back just with the OG Trooper team, and you just could never put Krennic in, and because of the whole bypass taunt, that felt super good. You just can't get the speeds because if they would revamp Krennic to actually be somewhere, but I think even at best you're like 260 or something else. You just don't get to do a turn. The shore is great. I love the shore idea in there too. That's like they're trying to give you mechanics. It's just that you can't get to a speed that would be where it's at. LV Krennic sounds amazing. That sounds fun. If you can push it 2 times and you're done, that's awesome. But it's like that Kron, I would probably gather to say it'll be an easy layup DTMG, and that's where we're going to see it because he can add a support, and I can already think of an amazing support on that team who will love that buff.
Okay. All right, guys. It is time to move to our next segment. Best attack.
One last thing on the new
please.
FDCs, just to throw out. It's just a tiny note
Do it.
to put the level 3 on the Jawa Kron is interesting. Because it's a mechanic again that we rarely see. That essentially it's like you can almost create in 5s like a bonus turn for a selected character. Because that's the 20% per light side alley. So you're not going to bring any of those stats probably with you, but to take it to level 3, so that you can, to the extent it is a mechanic or initiative over any other part of a matchup type of battle, you can do that. You can go first.
I was so focused on everything else, I forgot it was actually just talked on the level 3. That would have been such an easy grab for this week. Fuck.
Yeah. But it's like it's funny enough that they put in IG and Queel to the Nebbit. This one feels like I need a Kron team. Come up with some ideas, and they literally like the Dolphin in South Park, whatever. They just started throwing darts. Let's put IG and Queel with Nebbit. That seems logical. That will track. It's cool, but I don't think anybody's looking at the thing like, man, this is my number 1 grab.
Fair.
I will also add as an incredibly important detail. If you look at Krennicron, it introduces insight. And I think this could be the angle hinting at and/or content. Because
I love that.
Don't do that, man. Don't do the what it could be. This is ridiculous, Fatal.
Well, here, pull the thread. Insight.
I don't want to dig there, man.
Insight was added to the game with Moff Gideon to represent that he had done his research on the cast of The Mandalorian. And so this could be teeing up the ISB being added to the game.
Oh, come on, man.
I do need what's her name? Dedra Miro.
Dedra Miro?
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Luthen and get Luthen's air quote. Oh wait, I don't want to. Okay, never mind. I don't want to push the thing. But the mechanics of what you're saying, it's such a to me. It's like that's a like layup. If they're not writing it down, that it's not giving him insight naturally because of everything else. That makes perfect sense. Which is why I hate you, Fatal, for even bringing up the thought of this. This is logical.
I'm just saying, man.
I know, man. So
we,
you're gonna tell me
we got the first order Datacron before we got Dark Ray.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
you're telling me you're giving me the adjustments hope of seeing what it'll go to. And Dejamira comes in and she just makes the whole ISB team, which is going to be led by Krennic.
Yes. Oh
Or
God, the
by
rework of
Supervisor
Krennic for that
Lonnie
would be so hot. Sorry.
No, I'm so excited for this. That's my favorite show of all time.
When we got Tarkin getting revamped and stuff, there's no reason they can't go whole hog. Give us Partagaz. Give us the other really senior
Dude.
ISB guy that was like looking across from Partagaz.
My God, man.
Like,
And you have an
get 'em
ISB
all.
spy. You could literally do ISB spy as a part of the fight. Like there's so many ways to
Yeah.
play the team.
Faction
and I agree.
ISB is really on the nose because like they really only play nice with themselves.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry otherwise.
And you've seen
I
how we
like it.
break out in factions. We're doing pirates, so ISB is such an easy layup to say
agree.
we're making this, and Krennic is now being moved over here.
Agree. All right, guys, I want to move
I'm
us
calling
along.
it now. Venta is going to be the new Wigs. Velcinta versus Biggs and Wedge.
Okay.
Listen, if you want the real hook in, okay, here, I'm not going to take long on this. I promise.
No, it's okay.
We are in the sniper rifle era of Galaxy of Heroes. If you do an audit of this year's characters, we've got Crosshair, we've got CX2.
Oh, dude, I
we've
didn't
got
think about that.
Cassian Andor in what episode had a sniper rifle?
He sure did.
This is just confirming even more that Andor content is coming.
Oh, dude, Cassian update, and when she's on the other team, he gets he gets a new ultimate.
Is this the new Half-Life 3 confirmed?
Oh yeah, dude, we're there. We're in the deep now. I told you, Fatal ruined it, man. He said one thing that just lead us down.
All right, guys.
I still want Edie Karn as my non-combat character, but anyway, go ahead.
All right, on to best attack and defense of the week. For me, I didn't really have anything hold against Baby Yoda, and I think just dropped from you, Sasha, and it was just against Malgus. Nothing particularly interesting there, but honestly,
your Ray got a hold on me as well. I couldn't full clear it. Yeah, against my Leia.
Fair enough, and we know about that matchup. Nothing terribly new there, but I wanted to show you guys. This is a Baby Yoda team, so you might think, oh, this is kind of a weird hodgepodge. I wouldn't do this. He had some ridiculous cron on, and I can't remember what it was now. I could go check GG to see here in a second. But I wanted to show you guys this because, what the hell? The ship was already sunk, so let's have a little fun, right? The idea behind this Gas Rex, and then you have Hera Krex and Kanan there with the Phoenix Cron is, among the many things you might do to deal with this, Gar ISC and Bounty Hunters are likely not among them. So that's just the intent, because those are absolutely two very reliable go-tos, often used here by players this end. And I was very impressed. We can't. Smart me. You did it right. Anyway, the idea is... here, let me up even. Yeah, we get him to sit. Obviously, we take out 501st Rex, and yeah. I didn't want to hit gas. I mean, I know he wasn't going to counter, but I didn't want to hit him until I was going to big hit him. Like that. Bye. Yeah, you see how I did the wave? I don't know if you see I did the wave. Good. So, I know all of us here this evening have said that we expect good things here. We're already there. Like, this character is amazing.
I think it was Fatal. It was on our show, definitely. We're calling her as like where she lives in the world of Ezra, because obviously, like, I think they'll agree, Ezra feels like the number one. Bane is amazing, whatever it's doing, and but within her faction, Jocasta just so cool.
If you're calling her faction Jedi Vanguard, then that's not the highest bar. But yeah,
But just the siphoning and her charging up like this, she's just easily nuking them out. And I think I was telling you guys
that's awesome.
last week, I was really enjoying using this team in TB. It's already pretty effective. So I have only good expectations for this character. Really like Jocasta.
I can't see how many stacks of that was it Padawan lessons or whatever it is that
Yeah,
KB did you have?
28 at battle start.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And at the end of the fight, she had 95 siphon. That was 62 banners there in the end. Cool fight.
I
So
faced
that's
that same comp actually this week.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with it. TJ, how about you? Favorite attack and defense of the week? What you got?
The BAM was fun as far as an attack. Everything else felt pretty prescribed as to what we were doing.
No new
It's
ground.
finally
Though.
getting. Yeah, mine was just more along the lines of the defense, and I'm gonna do the shout out. And again, I noticed you say it's not yours, but I'm gonna give two. The Night Sisters doing the Great Mothers literally was one of my favorite defensive teams this week. All of the things that you would do, but this is the combination and why I call it yours. You went out, you did the research of what we were talking about. It's your modding setup that you gave me, tied into the Datacron attached to it. We were going for as much bulk as we could with my Marin. I did the changes to be able to fight the Ahsoka. So when we were doing that setup, that's what they're designed for. But week one, it held against Malgus. Come week two, it held against it held against the Inquisitor. So it's like the teams you were using, she stayed one of my bottom fronts and maintained the defense. That was awesome. So getting a 2 out of 3 each week you got to hold, amazing. The other one, easy enough. We talked about it before. Was taking my Zalbarkron, not going your route and not going Ray, just on the standard Ahsoka team. That was literally the chef kiss of.
Yep.
I had it set up. You were pulled
wiped out. Wow.
All of it. It lit SOKR wiped out. If I pulled because everybody was doing Leia, when you went back to try to hit this team with that, people stopped. You had a one drop stop and you were done. The rest of the fight was over.
Like
Nobody
this.
cleared. That's what I'm saying. That Zalbarkron, and this is where I think we had a conversation task where Zalbarkron follows Ezra. Where Ezra goes is where you put your Zalbarkron feels, because look at it. You literally have limited and it pulled and ripped SOKR. I don't know if it's going to do a Dracron. That's clearly a different ball game, but man, those two combined together and me pulling the Leia, you weren't killing that Ahsoka.
Very nice. Yeah, there's your Balin comp holding against Bane. I love that.
Yep. The combo where we moved to this week, I feel like I had a pretty perfected. I was even proud of my round 3, and I think even Fatal will be proud because I put a lot of love and care. I still walked away with a 1408, but I had 6 GLs or 7 GLs or whatever it was, and Balin and Seer Malicos, and like I put all of the love. SOKR was on defense, Jabba was on defense. For my round 3, that was probably my favorite one because I actually set pretty damn heavy.
Very fair. All right, appreciate you sharing that. Sasha Aisha, how about you? Favorite attack and defense of the week?
It was mostly favored defenses, I will say. I mean, there were some fun attacks. I guess one thing I'll throw out is taking that Phoenix and the Phoenix Cron against Treya, like a good Treya squad. Felt fairly comfortable. It was just you're really kind of abusing the dim-witted AI targeting, and so that was pretty good as an attack. But on defense, it was fun, and like I mentioned, Aesop and I always try to get a little creative, even though we hadn't. This is ironic, but like if you look at us, our match in the last week, we didn't chat before. Most of the time, we'll connect before, but we didn't chat at all. We just set defenses. And we always do something unorthodox, and we both set the same squad, which had only been set like I think 10 times before. Ironically, we both set Riva, SK, Barris, Malik, and Cal, and it's a good squad. He took mine out with C. I took his out with Bane, but that was a fun squad. But the thing that each of us tried to do like, and I had fun with it. This didn't really go anywhere, but it was an attempt. I didn't want to just set um, GL Ahsoka and Watt. Like I wanted to keep Ezra with Rey, and I didn't want to just say, "Hey, here's an easy 65 for your Night Sisters." So I kept thinking, okay, I have a GL that's a tank that I'm not otherwise getting great use out of. Like her offensive capabilities are marginal. I have Watt to go with her, who are like who are three fun characters to put with it. And so what I ended up thinking, I circled around to a bunch of different stuff and settled on Trench, Dooku, Grievous with a Grievous Cron, Watt. So you've got like four separatists, and Watt who's going to put the tank tech down. But the nice thing is Dooku will stealth everybody except for Ahsoka, and you're getting a decent amount of terms because Ahsoka goes a bunch, and the Separatists, for all their limitations, they do tend to go a decent amount, and Gigi will assist every single time. And hopefully after he does one special with Riposte. So I'm like, that's fun. Like, will it do any good? I don't know. And answer is it got wiped out in 1 minute and 46 seconds by QA. But that was my attempt at a fun and creative defense. And like, hey, I've got a few pieces. Like I had, it's like having like a kind of a mediocre piece of art that is composed of certain materials. And I'm like, I just don't think that the whole's worth the sum of the parts. Let's break it down and try and do something fun. So that was my fun defense.
All right. I dig that. Thanks for sharing. Fatal, how about you? Favorite attack and defense of the week?
The nature of the week was kind of just instead of giving this, sorry, yeah, just pull something off the desk. Let me find which round it was, but I think it was.
Oh crap! I'm sorry, Sasha. I didn't pull up these images.
Oh yeah, really quickly. If you don't, I'll go through that. And this, it's very relatable for me. So this, Aesop's as good a player as there is in the game for sure, right? And I was watching him attack. He's at this point he's become a good friend, and I am like at a family event, and I'm like watching him attack, and I saw. I mean, you can see every one of my characters is at 1 health. Yes. And that was through like 5 or 6 attacks. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then you go to the second image, you can just see over time, like then it's at 11 attacks. He was I think it went 20 attacks deep and they never died. And it's back to the value of that D-Ray. You're not going to be able to kill any first order until after every opposing tune has taken a turn. And on
a preload, that's a lot of pressure to.
I know it's. I fell for him. I'm like that. If there is such a thing as heaven and hell, that is Gak hell. So yeah, that's a shitty feeling. But anyway, that was worth seeing.
I don't know if I would have posted evidence of yourself using a defense APK, but I'd.
And I'm absorbed. Yeah.
And sorry, back to you, Fatal. You were saying you were wrestling something up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, honestly, I would just go to my attacks on round 2 and just like scroll down a bit and see some goofy shit. The week overall was like fairly chill. The Queen Amidala I mentioned earlier was kind of my highlight. It was just taking bodies all through rounds, but
fair.
Yeah.
Oh, can you touch on that, Fatal? Remind us of like what's the sauce that's secretive there?
No, these aren't my teams. This is someone I fought against. This is
okay, sure.
But you're talking about your attacks though in round 2, right? That's what I've got on screen here.
No, I'm saying my attacks and my defenses don't really have anything interesting because I cheesed and barely used the GLs. So I'm saying if you want to see something interesting, just look at the defense comps for those rounds and just like scroll down. Or sorry, not the defense comps, my attacks, but the teams they posted.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was Gas, Fives, 501st Rex, Ahsoka, and Queen on the Gas team. I think I've seen that before. And I guess
this was Vertigo working with iMalevolence to post some freaky shit.
Really That's fun. Cool.
a cool comp. Well, I like what it gives rise to down here. This is really interesting because this means he had Cat with Ray, right? Because it's a JMK Cam, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, JKA. So you've got the full Cam unique rocking, and you took in gas, which may well have been a reasonable thing to attempt. And that shit ain't work. About 2.5 minutes.
That gas team was real cool. Doing Queen Amidala behind the gas bed, that was like that. That was, you were definitely in the weeds of the kits. So even I saw Fatal when we were watching the fight. I was like, that's a cool team. That's a cool team. I was like, dude, I was looking at like taking notes. Like, man, if this works out, that gas with the Queen, I'm like, that's shifty. You were playing a different game there.
The number one team I would point out. Scroll down until you see Starkiller.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, this one. I know y'all were talking about it was like Riva Malik or whatever.
Yeah.
This team has some like pretty bona fide genuine engineering going on with like Maul Anguish giving JTR the pre-turn meter, which pops the Maul Anguish and all that stuff.
They got that Star Killer, dude. I have never seen Star Killer pull a ship so fast out of. You didn't even get to, I think, 5 people, and Star Killer had already pulled your ship. I'm like, my God, man. The speed at which that came was ridiculous.
Oh, that's really cool. So what did this guy do then? So he had Ray, there's Cat, Swallow, Ness, GK. Okay. Respectable comp. So he used what? Ahsoka Tano on attack then, did he?
He just gave up. He was just like, you have more than me, so
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the creativity, but it looks, maybe I missed it. I think he held Ahsoka for attack. Because you're thinking, okay, you're taking Ezra out of that team, so are you... Okay, there he is. There it is. You said it there with Watt. Yeah, just making you go after it anyway. All right. This is a really creative board. There might be some yoinkage on my part. I like this.
Yeah, so to some degree, like, you know, the JMK with the episode 1 bros, I don't know if I'm out here like banging the drum on those. Like, to some degree there was a degree of like I had like a cheese defense. I was holding like 6 GLs, but I was just like, let's ignore the 6 GLs. Let's treat this kind of uneven basis and try some shit. Like, I'm not out here swinging for these teams. Aside from the Star Killer is interesting. Although Star Killer, crucially, I had Grievous on defense. I do imagine Grievous would eat that alive. I haven't done Grievous against Star Killer with Ezra, but I have done Grievous against Ezra on General Syndulla lead, and Grievous got through that pretty comfortably, and that was pre Grievous Datacron. So I tend to assume that, like, that's kind of what I'm saying. These are extremely fun and cool comps. I don't know if I'm necessarily saying like y'all got to get on this. It's more so
no. I like the creativity though. Like I really have not been doing anything interesting with Maul outside of Seer here, so I like the shakeup of it. I appreciate it.
Like frankly, even if you're not posting that on defense, you could probably like that Maul squad might just work on offense. Like that might just be good.
Yeah, I mean, pretty expensive to run an offense with Exile in there, but I take the point.
I don't think that's what's required there. Especially if you're running an offense.
Okay, sounds good.
That's big. That is big because if Ezra can make or break other squads.
Yeah,
if you can trade it off, that's really helpful.
All right. Well, appreciate you sharing that, Fatal. Which brings us right back around to takeaways and final thoughts. We're heading into week 3. You're already locked in. You've got what you've got as far as set 22 goes. So early adopters will have fruit from that this week. God forbid I should fight Baby Yoda again. He's already got something like 10 of them. I don't know. I didn't even look, but I'm sure he's got all the focus ones. Just done. Just straight up done. Sure of it. So there's going to be some antics with early appearances from set 22. For my own part, I'm going to be paying really close attention to how people like their Leia and their Seer Malicos. I'm thinking about going back to Rey Sana. Maybe flexing Ahsoka without Ezra on offense, more kind of like what Sasha did to me this last week. just got to try a couple, like 2 or 3 rotations. I feel need to happen because it feels very rote as far as what you can set down. So I'll be thinking about how to just change even a couple teams, which of course for me is going to be informed by my scout. So we'll see how it is. But I am pleased to report my first round for this week is against Arsenal. So we have a real match, and yeah, it'll be a fun time. Aside from that, yeah, those remods that I covered earlier, those I'm hoping are going to be helpful. I'll be still taking on, um, any Saw team that I can now to see if it has some rigor. That's about it for me. DJ, how about you? Takeaways and final thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like I know a couple things I want to try, but I don't think it's going to be anything outlandish. I think we know what we know now. We talked about the raise, and if it's this, you're going to do that setup, and if you go this route, it's going to be that. It's going to be this setup. So it's feels pretty well like we're set, like you said. I did make some of the adjustments as well based on all the data we have. I don't expect new data crowns are really going to break the game, although I am excited to see what JKL bonus turn can do again, because that was a monster. Other than that, I think it's just going to be kind of lock in and get ready for threes and what it's going to go to there with the new Datacron set and everything else.
Appreciate you. Sasha Aisha, how about you? Your takeaways, your final thoughts. Word of wisdom for the people.
Yeah, I'm not overly optimistic, but I am very curious to see if we had Jocasta come into the game and sort of maybe just about the least impactful conquest character splash we've had in a while. And for understandable reasons, like the biggest piece of our intended home team hasn't dropped yet. But I'm going to be curious to see if maybe Temple Guard makes something legit now, and see if that's fun. That's just something that it still may be a little bit premature, but it's at least taken a step, maybe a baby step, but a step towards like, hey, we got ourselves a squad here. Because before, the only tanks that we had that were Jedi Vanguard were like non-taunting tanks that like most you could hope for is like, oh yeah, Shock has that one middle ability that can put a one-turn taunt on somebody that can never taunt themselves. So yeah, that's something I'm a little curious about at least.
All right. Appreciate it. Fatal, how about you? Takeaways, final thoughts, last word.
I I mean, I tend to agree with what you said, that you're not optimistic, but at the same time, there's plenty of stuff that I'm looking forward to. That I don't know. I think it'll be a fun week. I will be curious to see how Bane does against Darkrai type shit. So I'll be looking around on streams to see if there's anyone proving the role one way or the other. Because I do think that will kind of determine the future of that Datacron to some degree. But yeah, no, like the one ball that I'll try to call on that front that could be a little bit deceiving is I do think that Darkrai was kind of Bane's biggest foil, because as immune to a lot of things as I remember him being, it wasn't Darkray's fear actually like kind of a big problem for Bane in some cases, or like put some pressure on him. I want to say he's immune to a lot, but I think the fear on her basic is fair game.
As I recall, the like one of the biggest issues that he has is if he's the only one standing and she gets her true damage that is like Ray's alt, like light side GL Rays, it's intended to be spread across multiple tunes, and if there's one character left, you can get a concentrated like 300-400k damage.
Yeah, that's the finisher, but I'm saying in the lead up to that,
To hang on, yeah,
he is not immune to fear, right? That she's gonna whack you twice fairly aggressively with the fear basic. That actually, I understand, and I tend to agree that it sounds like Bane might be fine, but it really feels like Bane and Ray are mortal enemies. That this is solely gonna come down to those two, I think, and her ability to try to harass and hamper him.
It is a huge determination of like that focus DC's value. I agree. That's like it's a big question.
Fair. All right. Well, appreciate you sharing that, Fatal. And as the only other content creator here on the show, where can the folks find you this week?
Twitch.tv/Playbook TV. I will be doing another run at Bad Batch versus LV. Tried it last week. The Scorch Omicron did box me out on damage. The takeaway on that, I'm going to try something, but I can tell you kind of how the vibe will be, and the problem is just that the Apocron combined with the LV ult acceleration is just kind of rough. That I will given the opportunity, I will try it at least one more time this week, and depending how that goes, that will probably be the last of it until Apocron expires. And then past the point is really just going to be a question of how the neutral matchup settles with Scorch. I'm killing pretty consistently and handily in Squad Arena, and where Scorch goes, the fight consistently wins. So, the Omicron is 50% extra bulk right now. It's a little bit too steep that I need to come up with a combo that's a little bit more it's got some more longevity that I can build up a few more stacks before firing the nuke. The tools are there. I don't think the matchup is dead necessarily, I don't necessarily think it'll get solved this week either, but just kind of workshopping the matchup. And lots of other cool stuff that I want to try this week. So I think it'll be a good, fun week on top of going for 3.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, I'll be looking forward to it. Everybody tune in. And of course, we've reached the end of the road here. So thank you, to all my co-hosts, you there at home for tuning in. Of course, if you want to catch me live, that's going to be at twitch.tv/Tassinix. I also simulcast on my YouTube channel, Tassinix Gaming. If you haven't been over there, check it out. There's a whole bunch of other Slugger-related content over there that I think you'll be interested in. Got the Datacron set guide videos that I make with Aesop Rock. I'll be recording the new one here in the next couple days. He's just got a ton going on himself right now. So it's touch and go getting it made, but we'll get it done, I promise. We've got the mod guides on characters and factions that you've asked about. Videos like how to mod, the GAC Omicron tier list. And of course, it is a rebroadcasting point for this very podcast, which is native to Spotify. But wherever you find an episode, check the description. There's going to be a link that you can use to plug it into your preferred podcast program and follow us there. Aside from that, anything that you do enjoy on the YouTube channel, please do give it a like, hit subscribe to the channel if you want more. Really appreciate your support. And if you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, there's a few ways to support the channel. I do have a Cash App, that is Tassinix Gaming. I do have a PayPal, that is tassinix@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to get some enhanced scouting power for yourself, early access to some of my content, and a couple other fringe benefits, you may want to check out my Patreon. That was the fix that. Patreon.com/Tassinix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the Tass House at VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming podcast, which is coming out to our general audience 8 a.m. on Friday mornings, but patrons get it as early as Tuesday night, within hours of us recording it, giving you that early edge on the first round of the week. You also get early access to the Datacron set guide videos, and of course, dedicated text and voice chat on Discord, where you will usually find me lurking, so pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to Andrew, Banja, Deadpool Cow 28, JJ's Productions Twitch, Jobin4527, Miasmal, Ross, Rays Malbus, Sam Vimes, Cheapdog 47, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, Sweens 14, and White Wolf. Moving on up to VIP Access Plus, this is $10 a month for a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. So OmegaBot's the tool that I show at the start of my streams that gives you a concise, at-a-glance understanding of what your opponent's tendencies are for offense and defense. Anybody can use the tool for free to look at their opponent's last week of history and make a report, but only patrons can make a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable HTML version of the report with links that you click that go right back into swugga.gg or Insight, whatever you prefer to use, further helping you drill down on those certain counters you're interested in, saving you time. Or you might go ahead and take the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili, which is the #1 tool for your mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between, your Grand Arena, TB, TW, raid mods. couple of clicks. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster at will. You can use it to slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, not to mention be, very helpful to your guild during TW. Hats and tracking, stuff like that. So, no wrong way to go here at VIP Access Plus. Thank you so much to Dobby, Esh Sotnikam, Meow for Me, Mr. Tony, Ploon, Jake23501, Single Malt Jedi, Snack Attack, Striker, and Trouble Fingers. At VIP Access Premium, this is $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So, Patreon access for me, Omega Bot, and Hot Utils, all in one sub. You can't get those two bots cheaper a la carte on the market, so that's why a lot of my patrons say this is one of the best value bundles. Thank you so much to Argots, Arj, Big Ninja, Duckstab, Darth Link, Dark Hug, Frick Frack Paddywhack, General Milan, Ibanek, Johnny B. Ottawa, Hev, Mini GK, Hills, Twig, Saldag, Sir Boss, Sophus, The Lost Womprat, Wilco, and Zoltre. And at the top of the list, in Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper. This madman pops into stream from time to time and drops hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies all in one go. He's done it several times over the years, and I'm so very grateful because it's made a big impact on my account over time. So thank you so much, man. And of course, last but never least, our special thanks. First, to Yoda Force, one of my original supporters from way back in the day, bought me the mic that I'm speaking to you on right now, and even though he's long since quit the game, we wish him well from the other side. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, serving up coffee or alcohol as a situation demands for my streams, or just keeping our daughter from ripping the place apart brick by brick while I'm trying to be halfway decent at a phone game. And of course, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to record our show together. I know you all have busy work and family schedules, so I appreciate that you still make yourselves available 2+ years in to record our weekly show. I learn from you guys every week. Hopefully the feeling is occasionally mutual, but it's not about us. It's about the community, about the viewers. They love the show. A lot of great lessons they pick up. Great questions, great engagement. You guys add so much to the discussion that makes it worth listening to. I appreciate you so much. All right, we have reached the end of this episode, and yeah, it's time for me to start scheming up my defense against Arsenal. You can catch me tomorrow, Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday night here for you patrons that are seeing this early. You can catch me Wednesday night between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. And until then, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Here.